Coming up on today's wrestling news, Cody Rhodes cast doubt on Randy Orton's WWE future.
There's some talent frustration in the AEW women's division.
Andrade had multiple wellness violations in WWE.
And Shotzi Blackheart speaks on her WWE release.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the news. So, of course, tonight on SmackDown, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton team up to take on the two brothers. But ahead of all that, he was on the Pat McAfee show talking all about, Randy Orton's future within the WWE and the sort of conclusion of his career, effectively. Randy's, not Cody's, this is, of course. And he said he is glad to get into team with Randy Orton again. One more time, he said. He doesn't know the opportunity will come again in his future as Orton's career winds down. Basically, he said, we don't know how much longer Randy is going to be doing this. I don't want that to creep up on me if we didn't get one more good old-fashioned Mega Powers style tag. Old man Randy Orton, look at the state of him. I mean, come on. Dragging himself out there for one more tag match with Cody. You and I had the exact same thought on this. This, down the road, is going to be used when Randy inevitably turns on Cody, right?
It's fabulous business from the Code Man here. Obviously we can talk about this and, aggregate it as we do with the sort of genuine empathy, I don't want to say concern, but like sort of empathy and interest in Randy Orton's future from Cody Rhodes as somebody that has known him and worked with him so closely for all those years.
Concern a few years back with injuries, wasn't there?
Yeah, and it is, it's understandable and reasonable to speculate on somebody's career when they're closer to the end of it than the beginning. But yeah, like you watch this and the first thought is, well, right, Cody Rhodes is promoting a tag team match in the city they're in to sell some tickets for tonight. Cody Rhodes is showing a bit of empathy for his friend of all these years, blah, 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 blah. And Cody is basically creating a bit of footage that, as you say, will definitely be using the highlight package while invoking the Mega Powers, who definitely didn't explode or nothing. I'm going to fall off this chair anytime I move my leg. But it's so perfect that he used those specific wrestlers on like this specific occasion when every week at this point you're kind of waiting for the Vapor District or the turn or the Mega Power story is a perfect one to use. Randy Savage spent a full year kind of glaring at Hulk Hogan pretty much from the moment that Hogan celebrated him as the world champion. What are you doing with Liz? Anyway, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. We're 2 years in nearly to Randy Orton.
It's been a real slow burn, hasn't it?
Yeah, Randy Orton came back at the Survivor Series.
I can't remember. I feel like something else big happened at that show that someone else called.
Yeah. He returned at the Survivor Series. Cody Rhodes went to win on the title, and then pretty much straight after that, we were like, well, when are we going to get this? And Cody had the belt for a month, 2 months, and Orton was like, cool, yeah, nice one.
What you got there?
Anyway, see you later. So they've held off, but it does feel like a nice storyline to reference when he knows what's coming down the road.
Yeah, my good friend Mark Henry was talking the other day about Randy Orton being underutilised, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I did agree with the point where he said he needs to turn heel again. Yeah. I'm enjoying him as a babyface right now, but that is what would really be the catalyst for all this. And like you say, as we always say actually, the good thing about when someone turns heel is when they are sort of justified. And Randy's taken an ass kicking for Cody so many times, and Cody has never given him a title shot, despite handing it out to Kevin Owens and people like that, of course. And I would not be surprised tonight if Seth walks out and Cody's like, "Yeah, arsehole," goes out after him, and Randy's like, cool, so just Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed for me to take on 2-on-1.
Sounds like the exact play, and that would be a Mega Powers callback because Hogan went to look after Liz and left Savage to Bossman and Hakeem in that famous turn angle, so that you might have cracked.
Or Brandy gets attacked.
Oh my God. Brandy back before next year's WrestleMania, please. The other point on Randy Orton as well and the heel turn and everything is that the Cody-Randy match, King of the Ring final that got Cody his title shot.
Of course,
Cody learnt the lesson from the Kevin Owens feud and went for the injured body part. And man was like, well, he did that against him and look at all the awful things he did. And as soon as you spotted my weakness, you went straight for it.
And as you've mentioned, Cody's had a bit of my brain's a bit broken stuff recently, which doesn't bode well if someone's going to punt you in the head. But we'll talk more about it on the SmackDown Preview podcast, wherever you get your podcast from, later on today.
How do you even watch SmackDown if you're in the United States of America? Because here in the UK we can use Netflix. Right. And if you want to do it the same way that we do, you can do so with NordVPN.
Get yourself some fish and chips, governor.
Fish and chips from the tea, WWE on the television, and Bulgarian Google for when I've got a bit of quiet time on my own. All of those things are available. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah,
three things and more. That's what you
Jelly
get.
deals.
Jelly deals. and not having to enter my details on websites. That's the case through NordVPN. We've got
6% off.
Still off. It's a brilliant offer. All the details are available.
And 3 months free. Great deal.
3 months free. Like if going back to Mega Powers, if you want biceps like the Mega Powers, at least like Wilborn's right one, 76% off NordVPN without having to enter the old details. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah. What's your story? Go on.
Oh, my second story is my first story, in fact. Our second story is about talent frustration within All Elite Wrestling.
What?
No, I'm not letting him have that one. But it's women's division wrestlers speaking out a little bit on wanting more exposure. I'm going to fold a positive into this. Compliment sandwich, corporate speak.
Yes.
It's rooted in the critical acclaim and like how well regarded the main event of Dynamite was, the intergender match between Chris Statlander and Darby Allin versus the Death Riders. Obviously, Marina Shafir, probably the most gift spot of the match, going feet first into the tacks, and just Statlander's incredible women's title reign so far, the likelihood of the women's blood and guts teams getting announced.
Don't forget about that little twerp Wheeler Yuta being involved as well.
Yeah. He bloody loves it when he takes a kicking. But yeah, I would say...
He was very nice when we bumped into each other in London.
Good! I want your...
Still need to have a haircut, come on.
I was just going to say I want your vendetta to ease, but there's no sign of that anytime soon. But there has been signs of life in the AEW Women's Division this year. It's been a brilliant year.
It's stacked.
Queen Aminata wants more of that, and rightfully so as well. She's been class. She said on X in a post, I'm just going to put this out there, cough cough TK lol. I need more promo time, and I would love to be in these mixed tag matches. And then Deonna Purrazzo replied straight away saying, sign me up too. So, we've seen this before. It's a kind of, I guess, more common in the social media age. Wrestlers going a bit more public with their...
It's a bit more lighthearted, obviously.
Yeah, like they're shooting their shot. It's one thing to be knocking on the door of your boss backstage and maybe the manager, whether it be Tony Khan or a talent relations manager or anybody like that saying, yeah, you're on the list, we've got plans. And then you might feel like, where's my plans? And then social media is now an extra platform for them to be going there and say, because if nothing else, it galvanises your fan base to be getting that groundswell on your behalf. This happens over and over again.
It's a valid point, isn't it? I mean, every time we do this, I forget a big name. But you look at the AEW Women's Division, Tony Storm, Chris Statlander, Mercedes Moné, Tekla, Willow, Jamie Hayter. The list goes on and on and on. Tay Conti obviously wrestled on Dynamite this week.
Yep.
You can look at that, Marina Shafir, you can look at that roster and just say, how are they not getting more than one match on Dynamite every single week? They had like a couple of weeks, didn't they? 1 week where I think you kind of gave up, to be perfectly honest. They must have known there was some big football game and they kind of dogged it on the episode of Dynamite, and as a result they let them have 2 women's matches even though they're always really good. And then you can have 2 on the one where we've got 3 hours. We can just about stretch 2 women's matches. But we've been playing a game on the Dynamite podcast for 5-6 years.
Yeah, ages.
Complaining about the fact that there is only ever 1 women's match on Dynamite. There shouldn't be. Yeah. Sometimes, and the way that they're just like, Tony Storm versus Tay Conti. Really talented individuals, and it was just kind of announced day of, basically. Come on, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And the Queen Aminata deserves more as well.
Well, this is it. I think it's really difficult because a bunch of wrestlers will have great nights, and then you think, right, they deserve this spot, they deserve this spot. But it's time on television, or it's going to be that parity of TV time more than anything else. Because the idea is the more TV time you get, the more that you can suddenly justify a storyline being written around you that isn't necessarily around a belt.
Yeah, around the title. Yeah.
Blood and Guts looks like it could theoretically feature, say, Stat on one side and Mercedes Moné on the other, but you could do an entire Blood and Guts match at this point based on a heated multi-woman rivalry that doesn't involve the titles. Huge strides forward. So you can see why the likes of Queen Aminata and Deonna Purrazzo are thinking, we're this close at this point. Keep pushing. And, with any luck, 2026 will build on 2025's impressive strides.
Right, let's move on and talk about Andrade. Everyone talking about him at the moment, obviously with him jumping back to AEW. Without doubt, the first person to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, you scream if you want some more.
Push him.
Indeed.
It's perfect.
Not quite.
No.
Loaded speculations. How this came about, first and foremost, because it was only a few weeks or months back that we were talking, or a month back, I should say, that we were talking about him leaving WWE, and people are like, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. Yeah. Mike Johnson, a PW Insider, explaining it all, though, saying basically that multiple WWE sources confirmed to PW Insider that Andrade was cut due to multiple numerous WWE wellness violations over the last year, so they made the decision to cut him outright, making him free and clear to perform elsewhere. That is the reason there wasn't a 90-day non-compete clause. Andrade himself went to social media after his return on AEW Dynamite to say, and shout out to Grok for me being able to read this. Thank you, God. Thank you, Mom, and also to you, brother, because you and I are one and the same for this new day, for the blessings you've given me, for the strength you've given me to keep moving forward. I also want to thank all the fans, friends, and family for the support, whether in comments or messages. May no one clip your wings. There was also an interesting point made by Dave Meltzer, saying that people in AEW who know Andrade told Meltzer he'll always think of Tony Khan as secondary to WWE. No matter what, we're asking for trouble. So maybe not unanimous support for Andrade returning to All Elite Wrestling, but exciting. He is another new member of the Don Callis family, but I hope it works out for him, because there's no debating his in-ring ability.
Yeah, the stuff about like Meltzer, I think, was sort of quite critical of their signing, just in terms of his review of Dynamite and the review of the news overall, and a lot of that was just coming more from opinion and how people fit in. And I think that's, go and check out our Dynamite review yesterday for some sort of more extended thoughts on the return and maybe how things will fit in. But I don't know, the point about like the fact that he's been re-signed and there'll be people in the company going, we know how this goes. The person that signs the checks, Tony Khan, must think enough of him to bring him straight back at the first opportunity, considering that when he left Andrade in 2023, there was like rumours of acrimony. It didn't end on
Sammy Guevara. Prior to that, even.
It didn't end on the best of terms by all accounts, and it seems to have gone ultimately the same way in WWE. So there must be something between Andrade and Tony Khan that's brokered this new sort of arrangement between the two, or seen a value.
It's kind of last chance saloon, isn't it, really?
Well, it feels that way. I guess that's the point of two majors, is that potentially if a promoter likes you or there's value in you, then who knows? There's no such thing as a last chance saloon, for years it was seen as impossible that the likes of Chris Jericho could return to WWE, and that's all we've kind of speculated on in 2025. You can trace this back to like Punk and Cody were bigger Never Say Nevers than Andrade, for example.
Yes.
So I guess we'll see how this run works out.
I feel like the negotiations on Andrade's side as well has been like, I want to be used in a more prominent position, and Tony's gone, how about you immediately come in and feud with Kenny Omega?
Well, that's a really good point. Like AEW has been very, for all the debate you can have over it, and you can talk, numbers and whatever, they've been supremely match forward the last couple of years in an effort to, I guess, solidify support with the core base, the people that want a very specific thing from AEW. They get it with someone like an Andrade, because you don't know how one of a stable with 11 people in it or 12 people in it is going to necessarily get all the focus stories, but then the matches are always going to be there.
Yeah.
Whereas, in WWE, not only was he struggling to get focus stories, he wasn't always getting ring time.
Yeah.
So you were getting neither of them.
Great feud with Mello. I genuinely love that.
You were the big sort of cheerleader for that feud last year.
And you could sort of see
where
they were
going.
going.
Matches, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, you could see where they were going by. It was sort of weird, but you were like, okay, it's kind of a means to an end putting in with Ray Phoenix, because they're inevitably going to split, and that'll be a ripper of a match. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he can change his fortunes around in AEW and get more of a push, and change AEW's fortunes around. Of course, that report coming out that the WWE developmental show NXT has beaten them 48 out of 52 weeks.
I mean, unprecedented. I didn't have a fourth story. Wilborn's just read mine out, so we're good. That's it. Well, this has been the news anyway. Watch one of these videos there. There is one more. We're just having a bit of fun. Friday, innit? You can't have fun on Friday, when can you?
That's not here. I'm not. Can't get in trouble.
And there's crunchy adverts where all of a sudden the people just turn into pieces of chocolate you can eat because it's Friday.
Crunchy.
I don't like crunchy either, but the advert had a real
Bought a 4-pack of toffee crisp yesterday at Tesco. That's not lasting to the
I
weekend.
was going to say how many you got left Friday.
3.
Well done. That's
I'm
good.
sat next to Phil Chambers. I'm reserved.
Shout out Ruth Husker on Twitter. She very, very funny Twitter account. She tweeted something. They make a chocolate orange now, but it's just milk chocolate. So it's like it's just a ball of milk, a ball of chocolate.
Did I see a Bailey's or a chocolate orange flavoured Bailey's out for Christmas?
That's a lot. Are you a Bailey's guy at Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you're putting more sweet and sugar in. That's just necking from the bottom. Wilborn's been really violently sick. It's all
I got super excited about our Christmas party yesterday, and I know it's miles away. But I walked past Cozy Joe's in town. And I was like, soon.
What do you like to vomit at Christmas? Let us know in the comments below. we'll have one last story for the week. And
Go on, then.
Again, about somebody that has left WWE in relatively recent times. It's Shotzi Blackheart.
Of course.
She was released a little while ago, and she was speaking to Saraya on her podcast.
It's one of the best podcasts out there. It's not ours.
Yeah, it was the Rule Breakers podcast she does, and she was talking a little bit about those last days before leaving WWE and kind of what went on in the background and things like that. And she was asked if she was surprised that she was actually let go, and she said yes and no. She'd come back from the ACL tear, so coming back from huge injury and not being on TV, I was kind of not surprised. Like, you remember that? Yeah, it's like, oh, she's back. Where's she gone again?
Yeah.
But then she goes on to say,
shave her head around that time.
it was, she'd done it. Was it Damage Control, and Bailey cut her hair,
Yeah.
and then it came out it was in like support of her sister, I think it was.
That was
Who was
it.
going through treatment at the time. They put her in the War
cool.
Games
That
match
was
with all
cool.
the baby faces. Big like look change at the time. She said, quote, I feel like dang, they just gave up on me. I was in such a bad space for a few years, just like everything I was going through, and was coming back from injury, so much stronger, and not physically but mentally too. So yeah, she was a little bit surprised, but at the same time felt as though WWE gave up on her.
I can see that.
Remember, if you recall, they kind of like let her go down to NXT for a little bit, and she was doing stuff. There was kind of like a proto triangle magnet stable in NXT.
Yeah.
Remember that? But then that was the last thing that happened before she was sort of released. Releases happen, I guess. But it's worked out to an extent. I guess Shotzi would presumably welcome an opportunity back in one of the majors, but then
She's doing great stuff on the indies, isn't she?
yeah, they go on to talk about like how much fun she's had in the GCW program with Matt Cardona and stuff like that. And I suppose it depends what you want out of wrestling, not what she's doing now. We've seen her link up with Karrion Kross and Scarlett, and they've immediately got like great chemistry together. But there's probably never been a time where if you've got that TV branding, or you've got that like prior experience on television, there's like multiple doors that seem to be opening back up, like the TNA NXT showdown has resulted in a bunch of ex-WWE people almost immediately appearing on NXT TV. It's 10 cents on the dollar. And then we've just talked about Andrade getting back into AEW unexpectedly. So who knows? Like, you could see Shotzi Blackheart back for one of the majors or on mainstream wrestling sooner rather than later. But you will see her everywhere if you've got your finger on the wrestling pulse, because she's been very, very busy in the indies since.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see this being the last time we see her in one of the big promotions, like you say. I really like Shotzi, and I think I was a bit with her. Like, I understood it, or I expected it when she was released.
Yeah.
But I was still disappointed.
You do sort
I
of see
felt like
when-
they did get behind her initially, the Tank and stuff
Yeah.
and what have you, and she was the face of Halloween Havoc for a few years.
Good at that too.
Yeah, she's really good. This time of year is a bumper time for Shotzi Blackheart.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But I hope we do see her back in a bigger promotion soon, I should say. But I'm glad, like you say, that this isn't just a sad story of like, I had my chance and it's kind of gone away now. She's going great guns on the indies. Go and support her. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. And that's it for us this week. I
Yes.
suppose, like, well, we got something on here or something? Is that this?
Yeah, we'll hoist something up here. Let us know your thoughts on everything we discussed in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Check out the SmackDown Preview podcast, as I mentioned, and WrestleCulture later on today on the WhatCulture Wrestling Podcast channel.
And on the WhatCulture Wrestling Podcast channel today or tomorrow,
Yeah.
a crazy surprise new format. Worry that we're not taking wrestling seriously enough? Well, have we got the video for you?
Yeah,
Coming
Michael
soon.
Sidgwick's going to put us straight. Check it out. And check this out in the meantime. Bye.